What is good, Cloudy people? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to go over the true 2019 XXL freshman list. As we all know, the list came out yesterday or a couple days ago, depending on when you watch this video and when I upload it. But either way, it always starts an argument. Every single year, people argue this artist should have been featured on it.
This artist shouldn't be on it. Who are even these artists?
But today we're gonna go over all of that. Additionally, XXL has been known to be a little bit corrupt and political with their choices of artists on the freshman list, meaning that they have like different labels pay them off, or they just choose people for their own hidden agendas rather than choosing the freshmen on an objective basis as to who really deserves the spots. And while I do know every single artist on this year's XXL freshman list, I do not agree that all of them deserve it. So my main objective with this video is to create a comprehensive list of my XXL freshmen on an objective basis, no bias whatsoever, on objective standards that we're going to go over soon, to create the true XXL freshman list of 2019.
No sense.
And if that sounds good, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and okay, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil.
Joking.
First things first, I want to establish a criteria where we can decide who will be on the XXL freshman list. What I've chosen is having at least one song on the Hot 100 Billboard. So only just debuting even at like number 99. It does not matter whatsoever. But why I chose this was because this is an even playing field. All of the artists that are contending for the XXL freshman list are signed artists, thus have Spotify playlist placement as well as radio push and other things that a label can do to push their song out, so they all have the even chance of creating a hit. And not many of these artists have that debut Hot 100 hit. So the people who have it, they should take priority over everyone else because they have the biggest songs in the world/country. So they should be on the XXL freshman list. So let's get into the artist pool, meaning the 30+ artists that actually have huge songs. And I chose these from a variety of places. Firstly, and obviously, I started with the XXL freshman list of the people who are already on it. Because XXL isn't just gonna pick some bum, they're gonna pick someone who at least has some song that went off on Soundcloud or something like that. And then secondly, we are going to include the people who have large songs on the 10th spot contender list. And this was what we voted for like a few months back. There were a bunch of artists that would just take the last 10th spot and then the other 9 XXL would actually pick themselves. And then finally, I posted on my Cloudy Skies Instagram.
Go follow for daily news multiple times a day.
I posted on this account asking who the Cloudy people thought should be on the XXL freshman list or who were left out, and people commented, a few of which are Lil Baby, NBA Youngboy, and Juice WRLD. Frankly, we're going to take out Juice WRLD from the pool because he actually rejected the XXL freshman list this year, and it came out. I actually reported that on Cloudy Skies Instagram as well. So if you want to stay up to date on that kind of stuff, make sure to follow.
Link in description.
And if you have any other suggestions after the video, just comment it below.
Okay.
And with these 3 sources, I have created a final artist pool, which includes
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da, 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 da.
Tyla Yaway, Megan Thee Stallion, Splurge, DaBaby, Roddy Ricch, Lil Keed, Lil Mosey, Promethazine, YK Osiris, Polo G, Quando Rondo, Tierra Whack, Blueface, Bad Baby, Lil TJ, Rico Nasty, YBN Cordae, Lil Baby, Gunna, and NBA Youngboy. You've probably listened to all of these artists at one time or another because, again, they are on the Hot 100 Billboard. In the whole country of the United States, they had one of the top 100 songs in a given week. And in fact, there's only 12 of these artists that I just mentioned that have debuted on the Hot 100 Billboard. And those are as follows: Megan Thee Stallion, DaBaby, Roddy Ricch, Lil Mosey, YK Osiris, Polo G, Bad Baby, Blueface, Lil TJ, Lil Baby, Gunna, and NBA Youngboy. So that's 12. We have to narrow it down to 10 artists because the XXL freshman is only 10 artists. And how I've decided to prioritize artists within this smaller pool of larger artists is one, take the highest Billboard debut songs and put the highest ranking artists, and then secondly, possibly more importantly, is the artists who have actually featured on a Hot 100 Billboard song and not necessarily created a original work for themselves to debut on the Hot 100 Billboard.
And so,
If we use that second criteria that I just mentioned, Lil TJ would be taken out because Pop Out was Polo G's song, debuted at number 22, but Lil TJ was featuring on it. And Polo G honestly is the bigger artist out of those two. So now we only have 11 artists to choose from, so we just have to rule out one single artist. And pretty much with no brainers across the board of, artists with huge mega hits like Blueface at number 8 with Thotiana on the Hot 100 Billboard, as well as Lil Baby and Gunna premiering at number 4 on the Hot 100 Billboard with Drip Too Hard. Not to mention Lil Baby has a number 6 Hot 100 Billboard with Drake with Yes Indeed. It's easy to rule out the people with the lowest ranking hits. And these two artists actually tied at number 99 on their respective weeks for their debut Billboard singles. And these two artists are Megan Thee Stallion and Roddy Ricch. And in my opinion, I'm gonna go with Roddy Ricch just because his come up was completely original, created by himself, whereas Megan Thee Stallion honestly became big because of Drake, making her way bigger than she should have. But honestly, Roddy Ricch actually has a second song on the Hot 100 that he was featured on as well. So this is an objective basis to rule out Megan Thee Stallion because Roddy Ricch has 2 Hot 100 Billboard debuts. So this narrows us down to 10 XXL freshmen for the 2019 list. This is a pretty good list in my opinion. I don't necessarily like all of the artists on this list. However, again, we're trying to be as unbiased as possible. In my opinion, Bad Baby isn't the best artist, but she does well because she's a huge influencer and her music videos get millions and millions of streams. Now let's get into the part of the video where we compare the original list to the true XXL 2019 freshman list that we just created. By the way, if this is getting all confusing, I'm going to label the list that we just created as the true XXL freshman list and then the one that XXL created as the actual XXL freshman list.
Okay.
To begin, let's go over the people who got ruled out of the prior XXL freshman list. To start off, Megan Thee Stallion, I already explained that Drake put her on, so I really don't think that she deserves to be on the XXL freshman list if she's just representing herself. Next, we have Tierra Whack. I've heard of her, but I've never actually heard a song from her. And from her Spotify monthly listeners, she only has 1.3 million, so it really doesn't bode well for her as to the reason why she should be on the list. I mean, YBN Cordae pretty much quadruples that, and he's not even on the list, so why does she deserve it? Next, we have Rico Nasty. Yes, she's very influential in the female market for hip-hop and rap. However, she has less than 1.3 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which is a huge indicator that she just does not have as much influence as we previously thought. But I see why XXL Freshman included her because she probably is one of the biggest female rappers in the game currently. And I see that XXL Freshman has to include various demographics to represent with all of the artists. Like usually they include a lyrical rapper, they include a pop rapper, a female one from the UK. But yeah, you get my point. Next, I actually dropped Comethazine because he does not have a Hot 100 Billboard hit. He did have a huge song with Walk, especially with the remix with A$AP Rocky, but he just did not make the cut. And honestly, I think that he's pretty unoriginal. I used to like old Comethazine way more when he had more of his own sound, but now he is super repetitive and has even been accused of biting other rappers' flows. Next, and probably the hardest artist to rule out of the freshman list, because if I were to implement my bias into the true XXL freshman class of 2019, I would put YBN Cordae in the list. However, he did not make the cut because he actually does not have any songs premiered on the Hot 100 Billboard. This is just probably to his lack of a lot of songs, honestly, and he's really not a pop rapper. Most people in the larger realm of hip hop and people that listen to the radio don't know YBN Cordae. He's still kind of like a clout rapper, a SoundCloud rapper because of YBN Namir and just his general crowd. But I do predict he's gonna make big moves this year with his next album, especially with his song that just came out with Chance the Rapper. Okay, so now let's go into the artists that made our true 2019 XXL freshman class but did not make it in the actual XXL freshman list. Firstly, let's just jump in with NBA NBA YoungBoy, everyone thinks he should have made it, especially with a top 31 Billboard hit, as well as 3 to 4 other Billboard hits that have charted pretty highly. And I'd have to say that NBA YoungBoy is in the same boat as Famous Dex was last year or the year before, where he just has a bad image. I'm pretty sure NBA YoungBoy is actually in jail currently, and XXL Freshman has to pay their own bills. And how are they going to pay their own bills and even profit as a business if they have people who have a bad image that advertisers and sponsors really just don't want to affiliate with? That's why they want to be with all the pop rappers like Blueface and all the people who have, you know, cool images and positive. So it makes sense that NBA YoungBoy wasn't featured on it. I mean, depending on when they actually took the pictures for the XXL Freshman cover, NBA YoungBoy could have been locked up at the time. That could be the reason as well. Gunna made it. He should have made it, so we don't even need to talk about him because there's no difference. But Lil Baby, what I see Lil Baby as on the XXL Freshman list is similar to Smoke Perp and Lil Pump, the whole Gunna and Lil Baby duo. Lil Baby is actually arguably bigger than Gunna. Gunna is probably the biggest artist on the XXL list right now, maybe smaller than Blueface depending on who you talk to, but Gunna is one of the biggest at least. And if Lil Baby is arguably bigger than Gunna, then it's kind of hard to see why Lil Baby wasn't on the list.
But
with Lil Baby having a top 4 and number 6 as well as many other Billboard hits, he just doesn't even need the XXL Freshman list and doesn't really care about it. I mean, he has a song with Drake, so what more can you really do to promote your image? And the reason I said that it was similar to Smoke Perp and Lil Pump is because people thought that only one of them was going to make it, which was Lil Pump, because he is the bigger star. They had a similar relationship to Lil Baby and Gunna, like always being on each other's songs, but now they have spread into their own artists, and I think Lil Baby and Gunna are going to do the same thing since they already had their joint album. Next is Bad Baby, who is not included on the actual 2019 XXL Freshman class. Now, Bad Baby actually debuted on the Billboard at number 68 with Hi Bitch. Bad Baby is actually a huge artist. She's gone on many tours and sold many tickets to those tours, has massive streaming numbers. She actually has 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify, which is similar to YBN Corday, who made the list on the actual XXL Freshman list. With that many listeners and the Billboard hit, she made the true XXL Freshman list.
And finally,
Polo G made the Freshman XXL list. I understand why he didn't make it, because his hit actually came on a little bit later, probably after XXL chose their freshman class, so it's understandable that he's not on it, but he was still emerging at the time when the 10th spot was being voted for. He was in the contenders for that, but there is no question that he is going to be on next year's, with his album selling like 20 to 30k units first week, which actually isn't that bad for as big of an artist he is, and it's actually climbing because it's doing super well by word of mouth. And that about sums it up. Let me know your guys' lists in the comments below. Just list 10 artists. I really am interested who you guys thought deserved to be on the XXL Freshman list, and let me know if you agree or disagree. I even appreciate hate comments.
and I will see you next time.
Peace out, cloudy people. You know what I'm saying?
Hurry, hurry, hurry.